for Aderemi, power is intimate. Yes, power is intimate, and he comes from a place where he understands power to be influence, but the quiet type of influence, and that's the most dangerous type of power to have.
Right?
Yes,
Well, influence in the context of where he is or
I think
beyond his borders.
I think influence in terms of his abilities, his capabilities. He has a capacity for violence,
Okay.
and so people around him are influenced by him. They move different when they're around him, and that's a powerful, very intoxicating place to be. Yes.
Absolutely. I'm already feeling that, and I haven't seen the play. Kehinde, maybe more similarly, I was wondering, your character sits very close to this power and power in general in the play. What does that proximity do to your character's inner world?
Hmm. So it feels like a pressure cooker situation, pressure cooker spot for OABC, for the character, and also maybe sometimes personally for women generally, where you are expected to deliver certain things. They don't mind. They let you know they don't mind that you go for your ambition. But then again, they label you selfish or aggressive. So OABC is aware of that power. She can see the proximity, she's aware of it, but she's there's that inner turmoil. Do I go for it? Do I not? If I do go for it, will I be labeled something?
Yeah.
So that builds something inside where you're restrained. There's that pressure. You're restrained. You know you want this. You know you can do well with it. You know you can express yourself. But at what cost? If I express myself, what will happen? They
Yeah.
expect me to deliver, but they also don't want me to have to overcompensate for anything. You feel like eyes are on you. So you're
Right.
guarded all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's how OABC is.
That's how you busy. Is that throughout the journey or at some point in the play do we actually get to see how you busy just letting off steam then from that
She
pressure
doesn't
cooker?
get a chance to excel. OABC doesn't get a chance to excel because I mean she starts off a journey
Yeah.
already at the edge. So I
Yeah.
mean, and that goes all through for her.
She doesn't get a chance to excel.
When does she get a chance to excel?
She does.
When?
She's in control.
Mm.
Yeah. So that her results or her actions don't give the results that she wants is on her.
There you go.
Is on her.
There you go. Even though you say she got the chance to excel,
Yeah.
you still just
She had
judge her.
she had the opportunity to excel, but it didn't work out because her plans weren't like well laid out.
Our plans weren't well
Yeah,
laid
it
out.
didn't work.
We'll leave that to the audience when they come to decide. When they come and see the show to
I'm
decide.
beginning to think that that power, that influence General Deyemi is saying is really overhanging. It's a dark shadow around you.
It is, but it has to be. If
Yes.
she wants it, for her, it's survival.
It's
So it has to be. So I think maybe they're in the same room, but they're seeing things from two different perspectives, which is also
And I think she's
evident now.
as influential as she's even not probably more so than Adiremi is.
She
You
is,
know,
yes,
she is
I
more
agree.
influential, and I think her influence comes from her influence and her power come from a place of trauma.
Ah,
Yeah, it comes from a place of trauma. I think Adiremi's comes from a place of lack of self confidence, esteem. Yes.
very ambitious at Jeremy regardless. And maybe
Yes,
that's why
and
it's
that's what
needed.
see. So that's where we get our powers from. The best comedians in the world get their jokes from really dark places inside them.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So these sometimes it's our darkness that exposes our light.
But what does that ambition cost you as the General Deyemi, to your character? I mean, not just personally, but also spiritually.
I I think the first thing is Adiremi has to pay the price by losing alignments. There's a loss of alignments between who he really is and who he wants to be. I think what starts off as an act of service eventually becomes, self-serving, from wanting to serve others to serving yourself. Spiritually, he he loses that closeness with truth. You know, he gets distance from truth. He gets distance from humility, and he gets distance from even the values that he says that he's trying to protect or promote. You know, and that's the cost of his unchecked ambition. There's nothing wrong with ambition. It's unchecked ambition. Whether personal checks or checks by people around you. It's really important to always, to be ambitious, but to understand that there's a place for ambition and there's a place where, you need to, you know, tether yourself.
Absolutely. Kind of on unchecked ambition, I was just wondering what your thoughts are. You touched a little bit on this on the women and power, but specifically, how does this story speak to women navigating ambition, loyalty, and consequence in this particular play?
Well, how does it speak to them?
Yeah, yeah. How do they navigate ambition?
The play is very clear, very honest about what women have to go through and how we continue to solve the problem, even though it's not the acceptable way. We, a lot of women will recognize a woman who's expected to be intelligent, a woman who's expected to be loyal. They will see it, a woman who's expected to be submissive, and yet they still want you to, I mean, represent yourself and them in a case where maybe it's a woman and a man situation, maybe in a marriage or something. Represent yourself properly, but also reflect well on the man. But just don't do it too much. The play is honest about that spot they want you to be, but they're not equipping you with what you need. It's not just support. No, it's beyond maybe just support. I don't know how to explain it, but I think it speaks to women in a way where if they are in that situation, they see themselves. It's like a mirror. You see yourself. And you, as you're seeing the play, begin to decide. You're given the options. How else could I probably solve this if I was in this situation? But the play clearly shows a woman who's expected to be submissive, intelligent, yet maybe slightly ambitious, but should still temper it with a good balance without equipping her, without giving what the woman needs. And sometimes, because the society in different places supports women differently,
Yeah.
maybe there's some women who have the opportunity to quite express themselves. There are some other continents, I wouldn't mention particularly, some other continents or some other countries or some other religious beliefs
Yeah.
that allows a woman to be. Yet, but be, but just
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it just shouldn't be too much.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
So I think this play shows that kind of situation to women, and I believe it helps them to use Oyebisi's situation to think about ways they could navigate such situations. Yes.
I was just wondering, either one of you can actually take this one, just because of the time context in which this play is set. Matriarchs were quite strong and powerful in most African societies
Yes.
then. I just wondered what your take is in relation to this play and the dynamic that's playing out in this case.
Colonialism came and ruined it for us, and now they're talking about patriarchy. We weren't. Do you understand? There was an equal balance, and men had responsibilities, women had responsibilities. There was no need to cross carpet. There was absolutely no need for it. I remember my grandma. My grandma was a big businesswoman. My mother, same thing. Her sisters, and they were empowered, to reach for the greatest heights. Nobody was stopping you. It was now your choice. To do whatever it was you wanted to do, whether settle down into a marriage and have a family or become a career person. Yes, it's a choice. You understand that there are consequences for every choice that you make. But ultimately, this play for me, it kind of shows how powerful men and women are, especially when they work together to achieve things in unity. And now this might not be the best example to use, this story that we have, but it does show the power of agreement between two people who are truly in love with each other. I should say though that I think Adiremi was more in love with OABC than OABC was in love with
Well,
Adiremi.
women have to be, we have to
What,
treat you guys with
whatever.
Yeah.
Was it an obsessive kind of love? Is that what we're gonna see?
You see something.
We'll see something.
I don't know what you see. I think different people see different things.
Yeah. So for each of you, I know you have previously worked with Utopia Theatre and director Mojisola Kareem, but I wonder from other productions, not just with Utopia Theatre Kehinde, what sets Crown of Blood apart? And maybe similarly, you can just talk about Crown of Blood in your case, but you first.
So what sets Crown of Blood apart is that it is very timely. I mean, there've been plays, but this one is very timely. The world is, at the moment, in my opinion, paying the price for some of the decisions and actions they've made over maybe 60, 70 years now. We see something like a lot of migration currently now. People are just not happy with where they are, or they're just not settled in where they are. You see a lot of issues with immigration and migration. People are moving in droves, and why? What happened to that base that they had before? So a lot of um, world powers are now being sort of like called to answer for some of the actions or decisions they've made without anybody pushing it. It's just what the world is now, that things you've done. And our own example for this play will be how Africa used to operate. He talked about equality, so to speak, between the man and the woman. Patriarchy, as you were asking, it didn't quite, it was a collaborative thing. It was not a competition back then. But now, over time, education came, dirt roads became tarred roads, things started changing, and we didn't quite understand how to cope with that, which still affects now when we talk about things like migration. People have resources back home, but they probably are not well equipped to know how to use it. They feel it's not green enough, a grass on their side. Some of the balances that have been tipped, people are now made to answer for. In Crown of Blood, a lot of balances were tipped from the beginning. And all through that play till the end, consequences. People were bearing consequences for every single decision they made. Politically, emotionally, especially politically. So I really quite see this play,
And spiritually.
and spiritually, this play reflecting exactly now what's going on with world powers in politics, economics. It's a very powerful play.
In
Very
terms
powerful.
of, I think one of the most unique things about the play is this merging of Shakespeare's classic Macbeth and the traditional folklore of 19th century Yoruba Empire. And it then occurs to anyone watching that the similarities, the idea that that story could seep so easily in our world at that time shows that human beings really are not different. Like we are literally all the same. We're motivated by the same things. We have the same emotions, the same passions, desires.
Where and what
Yes,
time it is set in.
yes, yes. So I find it very interesting, very unique, and I'm really just honored to be playing the role of Adiremi. You know, this is our Macbeth character, and you know, working with Mojisola Kareem has been, you know, mind changing. Like I doubted myself coming here, and I kept talking to Ken. I was like, Ken, I'm a film actor. Oh." This thing, are you sure? I said, dear me, you got it.
You got
I
it.
got here and I realized I didn't got it. I still had to put in the work, you know. But it's been interesting, an interesting, really rich journey for me as an actor and as a person, as a matter of fact, and the entire cast and crew for the production. Simply outstanding. I think I may have just forged, you know, the next 20-year friendships, you know, of my life. So it's been interesting. Yeah.